CIVIC envisions a country where no person is isolated in immigration detention. To realize this vision, people from all fields, faith traditions, ethnicities, and political opinions must be engaged intellectually and soulfully with men and women in immigration detention. Recruiting diverse individuals means that volunteers will bring new ideas to the table. We practice saying yes whenever a volunteer has a new idea to propel the visitation movement forward. And we encourage visitor volunteers to develop their own stories about why they visit, and then share those stories with friends, family, and anyone that will listen. If each visitor volunteer could recruit just one more person to the movement, immigration detention facilities would no longer be invisible in the community. Imagine the power we would soon have to successfully advocate for ending the isolating practice of immigration detention completely.
A lot of the people that become interested in participating with the visitation program do learn about it by word of mouth. A lot of our volunteers are graduate students at the university here, UT at Austin, and we regularly host orientations in the community, but then also on campus. So what often ends up happening is that one student ends up coming on as a volunteer, and then they tell fellow classmates about what they've been doing, and they're able to bring other students in. So it's been really helpful in expanding our pool of volunteers. The same thing happens for members of the faith community or other community members. I think people start visiting and they feel really compelled by what they're hearing and what they're seeing, that they want to tell others and they want to bring others in so that they're also able to offer support for the people in detention.
We started, the first visits we did, we had 6 of us. Was it 6 of us that visited? September 8th, 2012. And now we have 36 people who are visiting. And we have more, I know we have a bunch more that after our next orientation. It started with just people at my church, but it has grown to other churches, to secular groups, to immigrant rights groups.
We've tried to do quite a bit of outreach to other immigrant service providers in the Austin area, as well as drawing on our connections and resources at the universities here. We focus mainly on the largest university, UT, but there are other smaller ones that we've also tried to connect with, like St. Edward's. But it's primarily been through our current volunteers that we've been able to reach out to other members that are interested in getting involved. But having the support of local folks that also work with immigrants has also been a huge help.
Well, the Quakers found us, and the UCC Church found us, and there's some Catholic groups that found us. Also through OCO, which is the Orange County Congregation Community Organization Interfaith Community Organization Group, which is made up of mostly Catholic congregations in North Orange County.
Grassroots Leadership, which is one of the organizations that supports the Hutto Visitation Program, has a website and also has a Facebook page. Texans United for Families, which is also another coalition that supports the visitation program, has its own separate Facebook page. And so we use both to promote events that we're doing with the visitation program, like an orientation or and one of our annual benefit shows, and really spread the word about orientations and other events.
We did, for the first time, actually just a couple of months ago, a couple of our people were on a Spanish language radio station, and the interview was all about detention and detainees and the visit program. So that's happened once. I think we're going to try to do a lot more of that, because you know, when you're in detention, it's hard to know who you can trust, and we know that sometimes people aren't sure that we're a group that they can trust. We sometimes have been, some people have come out and said, well, I thought I'd meet with you, but everybody in the jail thinks you're friends of ICE. And it's like, you know, no, we're not friends of ICE, to the contrary. But I came anyway, and I'll go back and tell them the truth, kind of thing. So we would like to do more like Latino and other types of media that and get it into the community. So there's a little bit of buzz. So if somebody from the community ends up in detention or they know a family member, they can say, yeah, this is an okay group.
I think a lot of our interactions with that media has been around events that we do as a coalition for Texans United for Families, but during those interviews or conversations we do mention the Visitation program, but it hasn't been directly to speak only about the Visitation program.
Everybody will contact me almost always through an email. I will get an email saying, I've heard about the program I saw your email. My professor at the university told us about the program. So they usually lead in with a reference to how they heard about the program, tell me that they're interested, and then they will ask what to do next. So that's the usual entry. I don't do a screening interview. But we do require a background check, but the background check is the one that the jail requires in order to come into it. If the jail did not require a background check, I would. People show up, fill out a form, tell us about themselves, who they are, what their background is. Mm-hmm. At this time, we just use the jail form, which is a really thorough form that has education, experience, occupational, all of that information on it. We have a 3-part program. That's an orientation to detention deportation system. We usually have an attorney come in if we try to get somebody that's been in detention to speak with them. We include some film clips and stuff. And then the 3rd part of the training is at the jail itself, where the jail does its tour of the facility, explains its rules, makes sure that everybody signs off that they're going to obey those rules.
Before any volunteer or potential volunteer can begin visiting at Hutto, we ask them to attend an orientation that's hosted by some of the more longer-term members and leaders of the Visitation program. The orientations are usually about 75 minutes to 90 minutes. And during this time, we also ask for the people that are present to share why they're interested in getting involved with the Visitation program. What compelled them to feel like this was something that was necessary and important to them. And in that way, be able to gauge what their interests are, where they're coming from, and also get a sense of what their time commitment can be, because we really ask for people that are willing to make that commitment and dedication to visit and to develop a relationship with the people that are in detention.
Because we are not an advocacy group, we're a humanitarian group. We're just there. We're not saying we want this kind of immigration reform to be passed, or we want this law to be changed in the city of Santa Ana. But some people come in and I can see that they might have those kind of things in mind, but that's not who we are.
Follow through. It's just that, that's maybe not a quality, but I've talked to a lot of people that, they display all the right, I'm interested. I know people, etc. They'll give all the right answers and display all the wonderful, a lot of good interpersonal skills and stuff, and then just at a certain point, and they'll do the training and they'll do all of that, and then they just don't do the visits. The detainee has a bad experience. You do not want to disappoint. And then it hurts the program. Our 2 primary routes are the church and colleges and universities. The church people come in out of a genuine sense of faith, a sense of calling. And my response to my scripture is that I care for people that are in prison. That's a shared thing, and I think it's shared in different traditions. The people that come out of the university often come with a sense of engagement with the issue in their schooling. Many of them are Spanish speakers who have spent time living and working in other countries, and this is a way for them to continue doing service to the people that they've met in some of these other countries. Those are the 2 big things, just this simple sense of call to compassion and curiosity, willingness to engage people from other cultures and to learn from those cultures, and sometimes and to share something of themselves in that encounter.
having a really caring and compassionate heart, feeling committed to the goals of the visitation program, and the willingness to visit consistently in order to develop a relationship and to provide support with the people that they're visiting. We look for people that are also comfortable with entering this very prison-like environment. We look for people that are open and willing to work with others and support one another. One of the things that we do ask for our more experienced volunteers to do later on is to help new people that are coming on board.
If somebody wants to do this kind of work, probably they're just good people, kind, compassionate people. We've found that it's very transformative work. Some people are just curious, but once they start visiting, it becomes a part of their lives.